Dr. George, I had a setback. I had a severe setback. Um, I need your help.
What's
I
going
need
on?
help. I am so distraught. My sister in law was a widow when she married my brother in law. From that first marriage, she had a daughter, and her daughter Alyssa is the same age as my son, Alex. They're 30. She found Alex. Um, but with what Alex told her, Alex, I mean, by my killing their father, I left them essentially in the hands of the woman that he had taken up with. She abused them to the point where they were removed from the home and they were placed in foster care until they maxed out. When they were in the home with her and he relayed to Alyssa, they were abused, they were tortured. And he said to her, my mother caused that. And he said, neither I nor my sisters want to see her in life or in death. It's what do I do? I mean, look, I'm not fantasizing. We've had two sessions. I never thought, I mean, I've always said, okay, it will be difficult. And I believe I said in the first session that they want nothing to do with me. But Dr. George, I didn't realize that the door would be so completely shut. He said, we want nothing at all to do with her. Please, if she dies, do not tell us. We don't want to see her in life, and we definitely don't want to see her in death. And that's something that I can't deal with that. I can't. Um, I, I, I don't know what to do. I am so distraught. I feel literally like a knife was put through my heart. And Monsignor Ryan told me, don't, Cassandra, don't worry. God still has a work for you. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But these are not your children. These are my children, and I did this to them. And although he wants me to work with the ministry, Dr. George, I don't know how I can get past this. I don't know what to do. I mean, I know if I look for him myself, I will have a worse reaction than what my sister in law's daughter had. I mean, he was polite with her. She's obviously not to blame. But when she brought up, look, your mother was released, your mother wants to see you, he went through the litany as to what occurred after I killed his father. And it was more horrific than anything that I could have ever imagined. He told her that my younger daughter, because I told you I have a boy and two girls, and one of the men that this woman took up with, he raped my daughter
Mm.
and he impregnated her. She was 15. When she told him that she was pregnant, he kicked her stomach. She miscarried and she was told that she can never conceive again. I did that. I did that. That was me. I did that. And I keep saying to myself, and I keep reliving this now over and over, had I just taken other steps to have gotten away from their father, this would not have happened. What do I do? Really, what do I do? How can I be of use to anyone, Dr. George? I destroyed my children. I can't see myself moving past this. I really can't. And at this juncture, I'm not even sure if I want to work with the ministry. I don't want to do anything at this juncture. I feel like I cannot even take one step in front of the other. What do I do? What do I do?
I think, and Cassandra, I'm so sorry. I think what you're finally experiencing is what has happened with your past, and really for the first time you're dealing with some of that reality, and and that will be painful. And I'm so sorry that what your kids are experiencing, what you're going through.
I did that. It's like I did that.
And it's going to be natural for you to want to punish yourself at this point because your husband's not here. It's really natural. What I suggest is right now, just kind of slow things down.
Okay.
I know you just came out of prison and you're trying to get your life together. I would say just really slow things down because now, for the first time, you're allowing your kids to deal with the reality of what they've been dealing with, and they're gonna be dealing with loss as well. So I would really encourage you at this point just to slow down.
In what
Uh,
way? What should I?
And just take it one day at a time. I think the first thing that we talked about, focus on yourself, on what you can do to care for yourself. And then think about the next thing that you can possibly do. And I think so far you're doing some really good things with your church and considering those things.
I don't know. I mean, this is such a setback. I mean, and I know it might. People say yes, I understand. No, they don't understand. Unless a person has gone through this, Dr. George, how could they possibly understand? Monsignor Ryan's told me, okay, it's a cross, it's a burden. God will see you through this. With this is God just saying, listen, you did not suffer enough, but I'm going to make sure that you suffer even more so to realize the extent of the damage that you caused.
And what you're going through, you're still grieving the loss of your life and the loss that has happened with your abuse, and this is part of it. I'm so sorry that that's the response you got from your son.
It was pretty, he's my firstborn. And when Alyssa told me that, I just felt like a knife had gone through my heart. And I don't even think I went out for the rest of the day. I just told my sister-in-law, I just want to be by myself. I'm going to stay in my room.
Let me ask you, and you're pretty insightful. What do you think your son's really saying? I mean, I know sometimes we say things at first that come across really painful, but what do you think? With your experience with dealing with people on the inside that have experienced loss, what do you think he's really saying?
I think what he's really saying is, you did not have to kill him. There were other avenues. Oh, fine. Yes, you were abused, but yes, he put you out. You had no place to stay, but you did not have to kill him, because in killing him, you destroy the three of us.
And that is true. But what do you think also he may be dealing with personally? Um,
His
and,
own grief.
yeah.
His own. Dr. George, I was abused and he was abused. His situation with that woman that my husband took up with was just as horrific as my own. I mean, he told Alyssa that cigarettes, they were used as ashtrays. Cigarettes were put out on them. They were, their arms were used as ashtrays. They were beaten. They were deprived of food. And then at one point, she had different men come and stay there. And it was one of those men who raped my daughter, raped her, just did not, it was not consensual, because my son told Alyssa that he heard my daughter's screams. Um, and as I said, when she found out she was pregnant and she said what had happened, he beat her so badly and he kicked her in the stomach. He kicked her so severely. As I said, she not only lost the child, but she lost the ability to ever conceive again.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know what to do. If I say I'm sorry 1,000 times, it's never going to make up for the way that I destroyed their lives. I said to you, was it last week, the last session, or the session before that, that you asked me what would I have done differently, and I said to you, there was probably at least one program back then that I could have gone to. I took the easy way out. I killed him. And I killed my children, essentially. I need help. I don't want to live. I would not commit suicide because I don't have the guts to commit suicide. But if somebody killed me tonight, I would relish that. I would really relish if somebody came in the house tonight and shot me, I would almost welcome it.
And the reason you feel that way because you're dealing with sorrow, you're dealing with grief, you're dealing with the pain of your children. You know what's amazing to me? Um, that could have happened. You could have been killed in penitentiary,
But I wasn't.
but you
I
weren't. And that would have been, according to what you're saying, that would have been justice, right?
Oh, absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
so let's just kind of talk about that. So how is it that you survived? I mean, with all that you have done, how is it that you survived, and how is it that you're here?
When I spoke to Monsignor Ryan stressed that he said God has a work for you to do, and that's why he allowed you to live. And I felt hopeful. I mean, I think I mentioned to you, my time in jail was not horrific. We banded together, we spoke. I went to different meetings, and Monsignor told me, he said, God allowed you to live to bring hope to other women. And I felt, okay, fine. I felt a glimmer of hope. I can do something. I can change my life. I can change someone else's life. But when I heard this, Dr. George, I'm not good for anything. I really am a piece of garbage. To do that to my children, and as soon as I heard that, I heard my father's voice telling me from the time I was a little girl, you're nothing but a piece of garbage. And that's really what I am. That's really and truly what I am. I'm trash. To have done that to them, that I don't think I'll ever get over this.
I wonder, and I know that you're overwhelmed with feelings and emotions, but you also recognize the voice that's speaking to you that says that you're trash.
My
Whose voice is that really?
it's my father's.
It's your father's, isn't it?
My father. It's always been my father. It's always been my father and my uncle, not so much by his words, but by his actions. And I'm just saying, God, is there any hope for somebody for such a low life as myself? Because I truly, at this juncture, I see myself as a low life.
If you can, and you're very creative, Cassandra. So what would God answer? How would God answer that question? Because let's be creative here. So you say that you're a piece of trash, but then you're saying, God, why am I here? What do you think God would say to why you're here?
I don't know, Dr. George. I mean, I guess I'm thinking, as unimaginable as it seems, I'm thinking that he could still use me. I can't, as I said to you before, I can't even think about putting one foot in front of the other. I am in so much pain. And yet, Monsignor said it's that pain that will help others.
What does he mean by that? How does your suffering and your pain and your loss and your regrets, how could that possibly help anybody else?
Because it's real. It's real, Dr. George. When we're in pain and we're willing, I guess, to share our pain, that's what helps another. Not pretending that, oh, I'm just so perfect and my life is wonderful. That doesn't do anything. The person gets turned off and thinks I have nothing in common with you. And what Monsignor said to me was, your entire life, irregardless of the circumstances, you will help others. He thinks that with continued prayer and with helping others, that God will bring my children back to me with a change of heart. You know what? I don't even want to hope that far. At this juncture, based on my son's words, I can't see that happening, Dr. George. I can't. I'm being realistic. When somebody says that they have no regard for you in life or in death, I don't want to live in fantasy and say, oh, he'll get past that. I don't think he will.
I wonder, is there a way, and you recognize that he's in pain, he's grieving just like
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And also too, you were away for 20 years. So it may take some time. So is there something that you can do for him, even though you may not be able to see him face to face? Is there something that you can do for him that would be an act of caring?
No,
Anything you can possibly think of?
praying for him.
So what do you mean by that?
By praying for him,
What does that mean?
praying that God lessens his pain. Pray that he sees that. It sounds like fantasy. I mean, I can pray perhaps that God allows him to see what truly happened and what brought me from point A to point B, what brought me to kill his father. I don't expect him to understand, but I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that I'm not speaking gibberish to you this evening.
No, you're not. You're not.
All I can do, I mean, it sounds so trite because people love to say, "Oh, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you."
Right.
And it's trite. People don't mean that, and they say, "Oh, I'm sending positive thoughts." No, I don't need positive thoughts. I need concrete action.
So,
Don't
so,
send me positive thoughts so far.
so do you feel your prayers are concrete actions?
At this juncture, that's all I have left is my voice. Dr. George, everything's been taken from me. Literally everything. The clothes on my back are from my sister-in-law. Everything that I have belongs to others. All I have that belongs to me is my voice, Cassandra's voice. That's it. And Monsignor said to me, that's the one thing that you have. That's the one thing that God can bless.
Do you believe him?
No.
Okay.
It sounds good, but in all honesty, I'm in so much pain that I just feel sometimes that he's telling me that to make me feel better.
And you're right. You are in a lot of pain, Cassandra. You are, and you're grieving. You're probably grieving in a way that you never had in the last 20 years.
No,
That's okay.
no. The fact that I would do this, all right, again, yes, I killed my husband, but I didn't realize that I was killing my children also. That's what hurts more than anything in the world. I should have thought differently. I should have just said, no, Cassandra, don't kill him. It's not worth it. Because in killing him, you're destroying their lives and you're leaving them in the hands of strangers who are not going to have concern for them.
Cassandra, let me ask you something a little bit different. Now, you said in prison you did groups, right?
Yes.
Did you ever participate in any 12-step groups, anything like that, people? Did you remember, did they ever talk about that?
They talked about it. I never did.
Yeah. There's a prayer called the Serenity Prayer. Have you ever heard of the Serenity Prayer?
I have.
You have? Do you remember how the words go?
No, I remember some of it, but if you could tell me, that would be.
Yeah. And the reason I bring this up, it's a very popular program in prison for people that have done things that are unmentionable. And being that you bring about spirituality, and just share this prayer with you, and it's been around for a long time. And so it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You let me to say it again?
Sure, if you would.
Yeah. So God,
God,
grant me the serenity
grant me the serenity
to accept the things I cannot change,
To accept the things I cannot change,
the courage to change the things I can,
the courage to change the things I can,
and the wisdom to know the difference.
and the wisdom to know the difference.
Well, what thoughts come to mind as you hear that prayer?
To accept the things that I cannot change. I am not the one that can change my son's mind. I cannot, even if I found him or found my daughters, I could speak to them for hours, but I'm not the one that can change their mind. From what that prayer sounds like, it's the only one who could change their mind would be the Almighty.
And
I
then, what things do you have control over in that prayer?
surrender to God, surrender, just say, Lord, I can't, Lord, I can't. You're going to have to deal with this. You know, I never knew a personal God. God was always afar off, involved with other things, not really concerned about myself or others. But in the Bible, different Bible studies that I went to in prison, they spoke of a personal God. They spoke of a God who knew Cassandra, who created Cassandra, and who only wanted the best for Cassandra despite the fact that she just messed up so magnificently. Um, and it sounded good. As I told you, when I came out, I knew my children wanted nothing to do with me, but I thought, okay, well, maybe it really won't be that bad. Perhaps I can change their mind. I'm at a place where the only one who could change their minds would be God Almighty. I cannot do anything. I can't. What can I do except pray?
And that may not always be easy, because from what I'm gathering, you really want to fix the pain that you have, which is natural. But kind of going back to what we are saying about slowing down, just taking it one moment at a time. If just
I
getting up in the morning is all you can accomplish, then that's an accomplishment. You know, it's been a while. It's been 20 years since you've been away, right?
It's been 20 years. You know something, Dr. George? Even routine tasks, even going to the supermarket with my sister-in-law and seeing parents with children, I saw that after the conversation that my son had with Alyssa. I saw a mother with her children. I thought of the conversation, my son's words, and I ran out of the store. I told my sister-in-law, I can't. I'll wait for you by the car. I can't. Um, I've got to get through that pain because if I don't get through that pain, I truly will be catonic for the rest of my life.
I think I want to say congratulations on removing yourself out of the store. I think that was an act of care towards yourself. It's those kind of things. I think those are the kind of things that you should be focusing on. Then, when you feel overwhelmed, then just move yourself out of the situation and find something that'll be self-affirming or something that'll be beneficial. You know, Cassandra, I really encourage you just to take it really slow and just
It's
focus on where you are,
it's
right?
it's so hard, Dr. George. This pain is something that I've never experienced before. It is total. It it's complete rejection, and I did this.
Yeah.
I did this. It's not. It would have been different, I guess, had I not killed my husband and he went off with this woman and they were abused. I would not have been the one at fault, but I caused this, and the
I think
pain
I
is
think
not.
what you're doing, you're facing the reality of what has happened, and at the same time, you're here.
Yeah, I am. I am. I didn't even want to keep this appointment. My sister-in-law pushed me and she said, "No, you need to make strides. Work through your pain." She said the pain will not she said, yes, the pain will always be there, but she said there's always the chance that it will lessen in intensity. I don't know. And maybe that's just a pipe dream. but I don't remember ever feeling as in much pain as I do right now. It's even, it's
Cassandra,
unimaginable.
let me ask you. So, what is one thing that you feel you can do to give yourself some that's healthy, that can give you a sense of comfort? Is there something you feel you can do this week that will be comforting, particularly when you feel overwhelmed?
I can't, I have no answer. I have no answer. No, I don't. I really don't.
What I'd like you
Um,
to do,
Go
if
ahead.
if you find us, if you can find a spot or a place, just get a piece of paper and just think about what you could possibly do when you feel overwhelmed. Like one thing, when you felt overwhelmed, you left the store. That was one thing. You didn't stay there, but you left.
Brilliant.
You took a walk somewhere. So that's one thing. Another thing that you've done, you went to Monsignor, even though you probably didn't feel like it, but you stepped out. So just take some time this week to think about a couple things that you can do to care for yourself.
I mean,
And you don't have to give me an answer right now. But
no, what I wanted to say, Dr. George, is, in prison, as I told you, we exchanged stories,
mhm.
but there was always that hope that I would be reconciled with my children. I knew I was in jail, I knew I was confined, but I always thought, okay, I'll be able to explain to them what happened, what caused me to kill their father. I did not imagine this happening. I've been rejected totally by all three of them. He told Alyssa if he sees me in the street, he'll spit at me.
He's angry, and he's
Oh,
but beneath that he's hurt, and he doesn't have his dad to be angry at, so he has you.
it's true. You're gonna have to. I need advice. I have no answers. I have
Actually,
none.
I'm going to challenge it. I think you have the answer, but you may not be in a place right now to really explore it. You are a survivor. You survived prison. You survived years of abuse. You survived a childhood of abuse. You are a survivor. There's something within you that caused you to survive, and so I have confidence in that. And I have confidence that in time you'll survive this situation with your son, just because of your history. You are a survivor.
Yeah, I said,
You may not believe
"Oh,
it, but I look at your history. That's what I see.
no." I mean, realistically, yeah. I suppose that's what somebody would call me. I've gone through so much, and yet I'm still here.
Yet you're still here.
I'm still here. I'm still here. Um, I think right now, Dr. George, is I'm going to put any hope of reconciliation with my children, I'm going to put that away. Because if I continue to focus on that and thinking maybe, 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 I'll be hurt even more than I am now. It's something that I have to just say, God, I deserve this. And I that's it. I have to just let it go.
Now, one part I want to affirm. I agree with you on just putting it away from now. The other part I'm going to challenge you on. I'm not sure if this is what you deserve. So, but that's okay. That's part of the tension. But I support you on putting it away for now.
Okay.
Really just focusing on yourself and getting through the day.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry that your son's having these experiences. I'm so sorry that your kiddos experience that. It's so unjust. At the same time, you're here,
Yeah.
and the fact that you're here, I believe there's hope.
Uh,
We're not quite sure what that may look like,
no, no, no. I
but
haven't
you're
seen
here.
them since like I said, 20 years. My son is 30. He
Yeah.
was 10 years old when I killed his father. My daughters were 6 and 8. They were all 2 years apart. He told Alyssa they have formed lives. I think my daughters are married. He's not married yet. But he, again, I mean, when he recounted the abuse, He made sure he said, "You tell her that if I see her on the street, I will spit in her face."
Okay. And right now, that's his right to say that because he's angry and he's venting on you. So,
That's
Cassandra, well, we're going to have to stop at this point. All right, our time is there. Would you like to meet next week? Do you feel you'll be willing to meet again next week? All right.
as long as you don't get tired of me, Dr. George.
No, no, I'm not. I'm just thinking of, I'm just thinking of something, an exercise that you can do. I like you to think about a couple of things that you can do that are self-caring.
Okay.
Right? Something that you can do that will. So when you start having those thoughts, feeling overwhelmed, would you come up with a list of maybe 3 things that you can do to help you get out of that spot that will give you a sense of hope? And I know you can find them, but just bring that back with you next week, and let's talk about how that goes. Okay?
I will. I am committed to working with you. If I sound like I'm in a continued monologue, I apologize.
There's nothing to apologize, Cassandra. This is your time.
So I'm in so much pain. I don't think anybody can realize the pain is unrelenting.
No need to apologize, Cassandra. This is your time. Okay? You take care of yourself.
Thank you, Dr. George. I'll speak with you next week.
All right.